Standing outside a house today that I bought from a tired landlord. I want to talk to you today about the tired landlord strategy. It's a great strategy for finding properties. I want to talk about what exactly is a tired landlord, why they're great to deal with, and then at the end of the video I'm going to take you on a tour of this particular house that I bought from a tired landlord and show you what they were tired of. So what are tired landlords? Basically, they're real estate investors, they're landlords that are looking to exit the business or possibly just one particular property. I've seen it where a landlord has a portfolio of properties, but one of them gives them trouble, or they don't like that property, or it's out of their area and they're having a commute to take care of that property, or they're doing self-management and they're just tired of that particular property and they're very motivated to sell that property. So they're either transitioning to a different phase of life, they're getting out of the business, they were interested at one time, now they're not, or they've moved out of the area, or sometimes it's one particular property. That was the case with this one. The previous owner that I purchased it from was involved in property development, and he did a lot of owner financing and throughout his career and development, and he had bought this property from a foreclosure auction a few years ago, and then he had a tenant in there. This was his last property. Tenant never paid rent, took advantage of the situation, tore the property up, and this particular tired landlord said, okay, I'm done. I was already done. This was my last house, and now I'm really done. So that's the situation that made this tired landlord get out of this property. They're tired of tenant issues. What are they tired of? What do you mean tired landlords? What are they tired of? It could be any number of things. They've got tenant issues, property manager issues, general property upkeep issues, or just loss or lack of interest. So I've seen all those, and there could be a combination of all of them, one in particular. It just depends on the particular situation with that tired landlord. But this one was tenant issues, it was loss of lack of interest, and didn't want to upkeep the property anymore. And you'll see when we go in there the upkeep that's required, or the repairs that were required. So if you get a bad tenant in there, it can really sour you, even if you are motivated, even if you do like doing real estate. Somebody gets in there and tears up your property, your investment. I mean, that's a bad day. Somebody goes in there, you've invested time, money, effort, and you have these dreams and hopes that this is going to work out great, and somebody goes in there and tears up your house, your property. I mean, that'll get you down no matter what. So if you're already thinking about getting out of the business or getting out of rentals and real estate, and then somebody tears it up, that could be the one thing that just says, it's time. And so I've seen that multiple times as well. And I want to talk about why are tired landlords great to deal with if you're a real estate investor looking to purchase properties. So real estate investors, they're already pretty knowledgeable most of the time from my experience. And they, if you're dealing with somebody who's not a real estate investor, they just own one home or something like that, a lot of times you have to do some education or give them more information than you would, experienced landlord or investor. They already know about, dealing with banks or dealing with lenders, dealing with property issues, the condition of the property and how that affects financing. They probably have some knowledge of the local market, if they've been operating there for any time, or, what particular uses are available for that property. And, so it's a little bit easier on that front most of the time in my experience. They also may be, like on this one, they're used to taking payments, in the form of rent and things like that. So they may be more open to a creative financing or owner financing type of situation. On this particular one, it started out as owner financing. And then he ended up having a loan at the bank that we didn't talk about. He didn't mention it at the beginning. So then it turned into an assumption of his loan at the bank, and he was good with either one of those. And then in the end, it ended up me just getting my own outside financing and purchasing the property with a hard money loan. And so it evolved, but he was open to any of those situations. He was a motivated, tired landlord. He just wanted to get rid of the house and get out of what he owed on it. So, he was open to any of those, and you don't normally get that with just a regular homeowner that's looking to sell it in an inheritance situation or just wanting to move out of town or something like that. No equity situations. So this gentleman was open to owner financing. He was open to an assumption of his loan at the bank. Then we ended up with a hard money loan. So he was fine with all those, knowledgeable about all those, and it wasn't a surprise or any education necessarily to have to talk to those different methods with him. And so all that was available. So they may also, another good thing about dealing with tired landlords or landlords in general is that they have access to multiple properties. A lot of times in my experience, I've looked at portfolios of rental properties, single family homes, vacant land, all in one, because this person's been buying real estate for 20, 30, 40 years, 10 years, whatever it is. And if they're looking to exit or they're looking to downsize their portfolio, they may be like, oh, you like that house? I've done it multiple times where I bought one property and they tell me, well, that went pretty well. If you want it, give me a call. I've got these other properties, down the road if you're interested in buying it. And I've made those contacts and had those deals available to me, out of their portfolio. And so they can kind of pick and choose what they want to keep, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to buy. And so most people aren't, sitting on 10 properties, and, a tired landlord or an experienced real estate investor may have that. And so with making that one contact, if you're wholesaling, if you're buying to fix and flip, you're buying for your own rental portfolio, and you're dealing with an experienced or a tired landlord, that is a great contact to make. Even if you don't buy any properties from them, a lot of times they have financing, bank contacts, repair, handyman contacts. They've got 10, 20, 30 years of experience in the field that you're getting into or that you're in that local market. They're a wealth of knowledge just to talk to sometimes and get, ideas, and, they can tell you about going to the JP court and doing evictions and, property managers and repairs and, all this stuff, so even if you don't buy a deal from them, it's good to have that relationship. And then if you have that relationship, 5-10 years down the road, if they are looking to sell, you may be the call that they make, and go from there. So that's why tired landlords are a great asset, a great place to buy properties from, and just a good relationship to have in general. And this one worked out really well for me so far. And I'm going to take you inside, and we're going to go look at what this tired landlord was tired of on this particular house. So here it is. The inside of this house is now in better shape than when this tired landlord sold it to me. We came in, took out all the paneling on the walls, got it down to the studs. We're gonna have to flip this house, and we're gonna have to redo everything. There's wood that we're gonna have to replace as far as the framing members, new floors, new drywall, new electric, new plumbing, new air conditioning system. And this tired landlord didn't want to deal with that. So he had this house rented out in a Section 8 program, and he was not able to collect hardly any of his rent. And he just said, I'm done with it, And then once the tenants he had in there moved out, he had to pay to come in and remove junk. I think he said he had 4 trailer loads of just, left behind stuff that he had to remove from this house. And then when I came in, all the stuff was already out, but it was in bad shape. The paneling was messed up, the floors were in bad shape, kitchen, you can see right here, it's been completely gutted. And a lot of tired landlords, or anybody really, even house flippers, that's a bigger project than I might want to do, or whatever. But we got in here, the numbers are going to work for us. And so we went ahead and took on the project, bought the property, and we're rolling with it from there. But this is what people don't want to deal with. This is what a tired landlord is avoiding. This is what motivates them to say, you know what, maybe I should just walk away. This person wants to go ahead and do it. I'm going to let them have it, because I don't want to do it. And that's the situation here. He knew what was involved. And he said, you're going to have to completely take this down. And I said, well, yeah, you're going to have to take it down to the studs. And he said, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. I said, well, I understand, I don't necessarily want to do it myself, but the numbers are going to work out. So we went ahead and jumped into the project. It's going to have new windows, new paint. There's a lot involved in a project like this. Now, they're on varying levels. In my experience, when you buy from a tired landlord, this isn't always what has to happen, but in this particular one, that is what happened. So you can see this is what a tired landlord doesn't want to deal with. And so that's the opportunity with a tired landlord. I hope something in this video was helpful. This is just my particular experience with dealing with multiple tired landlords throughout my time in being a real estate investor. They're different every time, it seems like, but some things, can be relatable to multiple deals. So I hope this was helpful. If I left anything out, which I'm sure I did, drop me a comment. I'll try and follow up with you. And thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hit the notifications. Check out some of the other videos and reach out to me if there's anything I can, clear up, or if you had any questions on the video, feel free to reach out in the comments below. Thanks again.